I have a question for you. Do you know the difference between street evangelism and relationship evangelism? There is a difference, and you can do both. My name is Reverend Dr. Beverly Tillman. I'm the senior leader of Greater Harvest Ministries, and my team and I, we work with pastors, senior leaders, bishops, and your members to help you grow your church. So here's my question again. Do you know the difference between street evangelism and relationship evangelism? There is a difference, and you can definitely do both, and you should be doing both in your church. Okay, so let's get to the heart of it. Street evangelism, that seems to be the one that everybody's afraid of. As soon as you hear the word evangelism, it creates some hysteria in most churches. Okay, but remember, there's street evangelism and there's relationship evangelism. Generally speaking, street evangelism is a calling. Only certain people are going to want to do it. Certain people are going to have the personality to do it before they even do it. And guess what? I bet you 10% of any church, of your church pastor, has a calling, has people who are called to do street evangelism. Don't forget, that's at least 10%. Now, if you're a smaller church, let's say under 50, I'm sure, okay, 10% of 50 is 5, but I'll bet you have 8 to 10 people who are interested in doing street evangelism and are called to that. When you get to churches that are 20 members, okay, you certainly have more than 10%. 10% is 2 of a congregation of 20 people. When you get down to those types of numbers, 2, then everyone should be doing street evangelism, and you can take turns. And I'll tell you, the pastor, the senior leader, has to be the leader of this type of evangelism, a street evangelism. So remember, as your congregational numbers go down, more people in the congregation should be involved in street evangelism. Whether they're called or not, everyone should be doing it. And guess what? You may have a church, when you get to 50, or especially 20, you may have a situation where most of the church wants to do street evangelism. Why? Because they'll know the importance of it to grow a church. Okay, so let's talk about street evangelism. Street evangelism, you go out on the street, you can go knocking door to door, or you can designate or identify certain places in your community where people usually go or where people congregate, such as supermarket parking lots. There's a lot of people there. People aren't necessarily congregating there, but there's a lot of people there that you can begin to talk to about Jesus Christ. Now, no matter where you go, don't hold people back. If people are busy, don't stop them to ask them or to talk to them about street evangelism. Okay, or about evangelism is what I mean to say. Also, street evangelism, you want to identify other places where people congregate. They congregate outside of schools, they congregate outside of supermarkets, outside of there's just many places where they can congregate. So identify those in your neighborhood where people are congregating, right? Yes. And in order to do that, you're going to have a map. You're going to have to identify where the schools are, where the grocery markets are, where the hot corners are. And you want to go there when you're street evangelism to bring the message of Jesus Christ. And in another video, I'll tell you how you do that. Okay, so let's get on to the other type of evangelism, relationship evangelism. Every Christian is called to do relationship evangelism. Everybody, the members, the pastor, everybody's called to do relationship evangelism. So what is it? It's an evangelism where we go to people we already know, family, friends, neighbors, co-workers, people at the supermarket. If you wait on the corner to take a bus, whomever you're waiting with, okay, it's people that you have some identity with, some people that you actually know. So I'll do a whole video on that, okay? But I want you to know you start in the middle. You start with the people that are closest to you. And this is why I'm going to give a specific video on that, because we all know a lot of times it's the people closest to us that don't want to listen to us. You see, Jesus was not popular in his own hometown, but that's for another lesson. So for right now, we want to look at and remember the two types of evangelism. Street evangelism, where you go out from your church, you go to hot corners, you go to supermarket parking lots, you knock from door to door. Okay, that is street evangelism. Relationship evangelism, you don't have to go far. You look around, it's your neighbors, your friends, the people at work, your coworkers, and people you go to school with. So it's people you already know. So when can you do these types of evangelism? The reality of it is that if you have your ears up and your eyes looking, you can do both of them anytime, anywhere. But to be more specific, when and where do you want to do them? Street evangelism, you have to plan for that. You may do it once a week, bi-weekly, or you want to do it once a month, but you want to get on some kind of strict rotation where you're doing it all the time. Okay, relationship evangelism. You can do that all the time, anytime. You don't have to set aside special day and special time. But what I would advise you to do is to get a list of people you know very well, starting from members of your family and close friends. Just get a list. And these people you want to start asking to come to church. You want to start asking them to come to major events or even small events that your church is giving. And I'll definitely talk about that at a later date, because churches give a lot of events. Yes, you may think that you don't, but you do. Are you having a picnic? Are you having a social? Are you having a fellowship social that you can turn into a situation where you want to invite family or friends? Okay, so that's it. Now, the thing about street evangelism is that right now, in the month of May, perhaps even April, it's starting to get really warm in different parts of the country. So you can plan in street evangelism to just go out weekly, bi-monthly, or monthly. Just plan it, go ahead, but know where you're going to go ahead of time. There's nothing worse than showing up on a Saturday and nobody knows where they're going, even the leader. So let's cut that out. Let's plan ahead of time. And that's with street evangelism. Okay, let's get over to relationship evangelism. Yes, indeed, you can do that all the time. It doesn't matter whether it's hot or cold or snowing. You can do it all the time. You just have to get a program when it comes to having events, special events at your church. So let me go to that one more time. There's two types of evangelism. Street evangelism, you go out. Relationship evangelism, you can stay in and you can just get involved with people you already know. So I surely hope that you've learned something from this broadcast today, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next broadcast. And I really look forward to seeing you when I discuss street evangelism and relationship evangelism separately. I'm going to discuss both. If you want to get in touch with me, and I know you do, you can go to greaterharvestministries.com, or you can text, especially text me at 708-491-8471. Okay, God bless you, and I look forward to speaking with you again. Bye-bye.